The wind howled like a wounded animal across the frozen plains of northern Punjab. No, wait, this storm wasn't in Pakistan. It raged through the remote hills of the American Midwest, where the snow fell so thick and fast it felt like the sky itself had collapsed. Elara Voss, 38, CEO of Voss Dynamics, a $22 billion tech empire built on AI security systems, had never begged for anything in her life. Not funding, not mercy, not love. But tonight, trapped in her overturned black Escalade on a back road she'd taken as a shortcut to escape the press after a brutal board meeting, she was screaming into the void. The engine was dead. The doors were pinned under drifts. Her phone had died an hour ago. Hypothermia was setting in fast, her fingers were clumsy, her thoughts sluggish. She pounded on the roof, the only part still visible above the snow. Help. Anyone. Please. Nothing but wind. Then, headlights, dim, yellow, ancient, cut through the whiteout. An old Ford pickup, rusted but stubborn, stopped. A man climbed out, broad-shouldered, bundled in a worn Carhartt coat and a wool cap pulled low. He carried a shovel and a tow chain. He didn't speak at first. Just started digging. Elara watched through the cracked windshield as he worked methodically, clearing snow from around the door, then prying it open with a crowbar from his truck bed. When he finally reached her, his gloved hand extended. Come on. You're half frozen. She collapsed against him. He half carried her to the truck, wrapped her in blankets that smelled of hay and wood smoke, cranked the heat, and drove. The farmhouse was small, weathered clapboard, surrounded by snow-buried fields. Inside, wood stove roared. He set her on the couch, poured hot coffee laced with whiskey, forced her to drink. Name's Caleb Reed, he said finally, voice low and gravelly. You? Elara Voss. He nodded like the name meant nothing. Maybe it didn't out here. She stayed 3 days. The roads were closed, the blizzard refused to relent. Caleb fed her stew from a pot that never seemed to empty, split wood, checked on livestock in the barn. He spoke little, but when he did, it was kind, quiet stories about the land, the crops, the way the soil remembered every season. Elara, used to boardrooms and private jets, found herself strangely at peace. No emails. No calls. Just the crackle of fire and the occasional low of cattle. On the second night, over bowls of chili, she asked, "Why do you live like this? Alone?" "Simpler," he said. "Less people get hurt." She didn't press. By the third day, the storm broke. Roads were plowed. Elara's driver was en route with a new vehicle. She stood on the porch, bundled in one of Caleb's old coats, watching him load feed sacks into the barn. "I owe you my life," she said. He shrugged. Anyone would have done it. No. They wouldn't. She pulled out her phone, now charged, and opened her banking app. "Let me pay you back. Whatever you need, new truck, equipment, college for, do you have kids?" "No kids. No debt." He turned away. "Keep your money." She stepped closer. "Then let me invest in this place. Modern irrigation, solar." I said no. Something in his tone made her pause. She looked at him, really looked. The scar running along his jaw, half hidden by stubble. The way his eyes flicked to the horizon like he was waiting for something to catch up. That night, before she left, she searched his name on her phone while he was out checking fences. Caleb Reed. The results hit like a second blizzard. 10 years ago, armed robbery. Double homicide. A botched heist at a small bank in Nebraska. The shooter, identified as Caleb Reed, had vanished after killing 2 guards and escaping with $1.2 million. Presumed dead in a river chase. Case cold. But the photo, same jawline, same eyes. Her stomach dropped. She stared at the screen. The man who'd carried her through snow, warmed her hands with his own calloused ones, fed her when she couldn't feed herself, was a wanted fugitive. Or had been. She heard boots on the porch. Quickly closed the browser. Caleb stepped in, snow on his shoulders. Road's clear. Your ride's here. She stood. Caleb. I know. He froze. For the first time, she saw fear in those steady eyes. How long? He asked quietly. Long enough. He didn't run. Just sat heavily at the kitchen table, hands folded. I was 24, he said. Stupid. Desperate. My sister was dying, cancer. No insurance. I thought, one job. Quick money. It went wrong. Guards pulled guns. Shots fired. I didn't mean to kill them. But I did. Ran. Changed my name. Bought this land with what was left after I buried the cash. Been hiding ever since. Elara's mind raced. Lawyers, deals, her own security team could make problems disappear. Or make them worse. Why tell me now? She asked. Because you looked at me like I was worth saving, he said. And I don't want you carrying my lie. Silence stretched. She could call the authorities. End it. Or. She sat across from him. What if I don't tell? His head snapped up. You'd be accessory after the fact. I know the law better than most. He studied her. Why? Because you saved me without knowing who I was. Because this farm is the first place in years I didn't feel like a machine. She took a breath. And because maybe people deserve second chances, even the ones who don't think they do. He laughed, bitter. You don't know what you're saying. I know exactly. She leaned forward. I can make the old case go away. Quietly. New identity, clean records. Or, you stay here, and I stay quiet. Your choice. Caleb stared at the table for a long minute. Then he stood, walked to the window, looked out at the thawing fields. I don't want your empire, he said. I just want to plant corn in spring without looking over my shoulder. Then do it, she said softly. I'll make sure no one comes looking. He turned. Their eyes met. Something shifted, gratitude, maybe trust, maybe the beginning of something neither expected. She left that afternoon. But 2 weeks later, a solar array arrived at the farm, paid for anonymously. A month after, irrigation pipes. 6 months later, when the first green shoots broke through, a black SUV pulled up. Elara stepped out. Caleb waited on the porch, no weapon, just a mug of coffee. You didn't have to come back, he said. I wanted to see the corn. He smiled, small, real. Stay for dinner? She did. And somewhere in the quiet between them, the past didn't explode. It simply faded, like snow under sun.